So today we'll continue with Tripura Rahasya. We've been taking this text called Tripura Rahasya. It's the fifth session. I'll give a quick overview about it, but before we go to that, we'll talk about Kalpataru Day first, and then we'll go to Tripura Rahasya. So today is January 1st, and widely, globally, in the Ramakrishna ashram and Ramakrishna community, today celebrated as Kalpataru Day. So anybody knows what is Kalpataru Day? You've heard of Kalpataru Day? You only know Happy New Year. Does anybody have any idea of Kalpataru Day? So today is a day in I think 1886, Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa became a Kalpa Vriksha, an embodiment of the wish-fulfilling tree. There's a reference to a tree called Kalparuksha. Have you heard Kalparuksha? Kalparuksha it's a wish-fulfilling tree. It's a divine tree, and whatever anybody asks, it fulfills. So they say that, and this is a actual record of what happened on that day. On the day of January 1st, 1886, Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa. So Ramakrishna Paramahamsa was already diagnosed with cancer. He was already suffering with cancer, throat cancer, and he didn't. Later we'll come to that he doesn't have much time. But on that particular day, there were a few of his disciples. Swami Vivekananda and the other popular known disciples were not there. Just some other close disciples were there. All of them mostly householders, Rahastas. And Ramakrishna came outside of his room, and he asked somebody, "Who am I? Who am I?" Then the disciple who he spoke to, he said, "You are the divine himself, in human form." Ramakrishna Paramahamsa was very happy to hear that. Then he touched him. And when he touched him, that person lost his individuality, dissolved completely, and remained as pure consciousness. And he, at the same time, Ramakrishna also entered a state of higher samadhi. He was in deep ecstasy. And so one thing you have to understand is, when a gnani, in the presence of a gnani, words like ecstasy, peace, love, compassion, consciousness, God, what else? Power, Shakti, all those don't remain words anymore. You will actually see it embodied. So when we talk about ecstasy, we have some mental notion, some behavior. When we talk about love, we have some mental concept. It's the word in its truest form and beyond is witnessed in the Gnani. And for somebody like Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, it is in its most purest form. Because Ramakrishna Paramahamsa is considered Yuga Avatar. He's the avatar for this Kali Yuga. So that's why it said, Sthapakaya cha dharmasya sarva dharma swarupine avatara varishtaya Ramakrishnaya te namaha. So repeat. Avatara varishtaya Ramakrishnaya avatara varishtaya Ramakrishnaya avatara varishtaya Ramakrishnaya. Ramakrishna, so it's the Yugavatar. That day he blessed whoever he touched. Whoever he touched, they attained higher states of samadhi. And many of them were liberated. And it is said that whatever desire anybody had, that got fulfilled. But mainly, whoever was there, whoever was present in the garden, every single person, it was documented that they all reached a state or recognized a state beyond the mind. One, because of the presence of Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, by the touch of Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa. And this is very, very significant. It's no ordinary event. Okay. Why is this so special? Why is whatever happened? Sometimes it might seem like a story. Somebody touches. We've seen this in the movies. There's a light and there's a touch. There's some mysticism to it. But the reality is the presence of the master. The master is, there's no individual there. And the divine completely operates to that body mind. Okay. And in the right place, the right time, this, when everything is in the right order, something extraordinary happens. And that something extraordinary is Kalpataru. A complete dissolution of the mind, which is impossible with the mind. The mind is always trying to get that which is beyond it. Okay, but get it within its own realm. I don't want to get something beyond dropping what I have. I want to get something with what I have, but I want to get it. But in a natural, in a very natural and spontaneous way, the master pushes the disciple into the complete unknown. And that is what is Kalpataru. So in conscience, so to explain this, the significance here is the touch of the master, the physical touch, okay, and the recognition of the master. So a master is required, a Gnani is required, who is Brahma Varishta, Brahmanishta. But here is a Avatara Varishta. It's not just a Brahmanishta. It's a Avatara Varishta. Avatara Varishta means, so we've heard of 4 types of Gnani: Brahmavid, Brahmavara, Brahmavarenya, Brahma Varishta. Okay? And Ramakrishna Paramahamsa is Avatara Varishta. He is not only a knower of Brahman, but he is somebody who can channelize the power. And that's why it's called, he's Avatara Varishta. He's not just a knower of Brahman. It's just not just an ordinary Gnani. He is able to bring down the electricity. And that his touch is the actual touch of God. Okay? He's God in human form. He speaking is God speaking. He seeing is God seeing. Okay? And is it God, some partial, some some loose signal coming in? It's absolute. Absolute consciousness coming down to human body. The uniqueness of Ramakrishna Paramahamsa is in the past few centuries, he's the only one who is able to do that. And that requires the highest order of purification of body mind. He used to be so much lost in ecstasy that his whole body would be boiling like fever. Okay? And they had to put him in cold water to bring his body temperature down. His body could not handle the amount of energy that was flowing, the amount of love, amount of compassion. It's actual energy. So you can understand this in reference to your emotions. So like let's say example, you have some anger. Okay. After some time, that becomes habit. Maybe every day you get angry. But extreme anger, rage, is built up over time, right? And there are sudden fits of rage you get. So at the lower order, it's the same energy. You're getting angry, it's energy movement. Then at some time, there's a very high energy moment, which is rage. Now, the same thing on the flip side. Somebody who's established in consciousness, there is higher order energy moving, higher order energy of constant flow of love and compassion. Okay, that's why there's constant movement towards teaching, giving, service. Okay, that constant flow is there. That's a very day-to-day thing for them. Day-to-day, the higher order consciousness is pumping the system with higher order energy. Now, Kalpataru is a day when it's all that built up opens up suddenly. One, because the Gnani's body mind itself has reached that stage, it can handle that energy. That is it one. Because the Gnani himself, the body mind, it's not the Gnani. When you say Gnani, we are personifying as if it's a person. The consciousness is unaffected, but the body mind is getting more and more purer. Okay, so you can think of it like a pipe. Body mind is like a pipe. Before Gnana, the pipe is filled with thoughts. Thoughts, emotions. Thoughts lead to emotion. Emotions lead to actions. Actions lead to reaction. Again, it's a cycle. So the pipe called body mind is constantly filled with kitchen, dirt. Okay, and that is what these scriptures and everybody refer to as impurity. In the sense, in the universe, in the sense, nothing is impure, everything is divine. But this constant flow of thoughts, which is against the current, it's against it's against what is real. Okay, the flow of thoughts constantly. I'm an individual, and there's a world. There's a separation. That is a constant stream. That is the only impurity, and that impurity is called ignorance. Okay, so in this pipe called body mind, there's a constant flow of that ignorant thought pattern, and that leads to emotions, experiences, whatnot. In Gnana, in the Gnani, all that is flushed out. That is emptied out. Okay? The Gnani is like a flute. Now is empty. But the pipe cannot be empty. Okay? If the pipe is empty, the pipe is useless. You throw the pipe. But the Gnani has to operate in the world. He has to to establish dharma or to pass on Gnana. Only two purposes are left. That's why it said Sthapakaya cha dharmasya sarva dharma swarupi. To sthapana of dharma is Yugavata Ramakrishna. Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata abhyutthanam adharmasya tadatmanam srijam. Krishna also said, to establish dharma I have come. So Krishna's body is a pipe. Ramakrishna's body is a pipe. Now what comes out of the pipe is another movement, another energy. But that energy is of higher order. Okay. And that energy is completely in tune with dharma. It has come to establish dharma or pass on gnana. In the case of Sri Shankaracharya or Ramana Maharshi, in stages like this, the pipe becomes a pipe of gnana. In the case of Sri Ramakrishna, it's a pipe of dharma and pipe of gnana. Why dharma? Because at that time, in 1886, India was still under the rule of British. We all talk about freedom fighters, right? We all glorify them. We pay respects, right? They gave their life to the country. But we always forget who inspired everything. Who gave them the strength to do that? Somebody has to inspire them, right? Somebody has to put the thought in their head that there is something called a sacrifice, that there's something called as a higher goal, And that was done by Swami Vivekananda. Verbally, as in the sense he used his communication to build that strength in India at that time. Okay, and Swami Vivekananda's master is Ramakrishna Paramahamsa. So in the sense, Ramakrishna Paramahamsa was the one because of whom we have independence right now. Okay, the freedom fighters, they laid down their lives, they worked for the country. They were inspired by the few words of Swami Vivekananda, who went to the West, who put Sanatana Dharma on a global platform. And then, because of him, many people came to know about Ramakrishna Paramahamsa. But the starting point was Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa. And that is why it's called Sthapakaya Dharmasya. And till today, that order, that mission that Ramakrishna Paramahamsa set up, it was set up by Vivekananda and his wife, Ramakrishna's wife, Mother Sharda Devi. They set up the organization. And till today, that body, and that is called the body of a Gnani. Even after the death of the Gnani, the body continues to work. How does it continue to work, you might ask, for Dharma? So our current Prime Minister, he wanted to become a monk. So he went to this order, Ramakrishna order, to become a monk. Then the guru there, the master there, he recognized in this person that this person is the right vehicle. It's the right vehicle to channel the Dharma in whatever way. And he didn't give him sannyasa. He told you, go, you have to serve the country. Go back. Okay. And that's how we, then the person came back, and then he ended up with the Prime Minister and bringing all this transformation in the country. So that seed that Ramakrishna Paramahamsa put still continues to grow and transform lives of people and the country at large and the world at large. Okay, and a lot of establishments were opened all across the world, especially in US, where till today people practice. They study Vedanta and they practice various sorts of meditation under this order. Okay, that's all about the aftermath. But what we must recognize is this great personality called Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, Avatara Varishtaya Ramakrishna. And this, so I was talking about the pipe. So the pipe, in your pipe, there's a thought pattern, and that thought pattern gives some certain bursts of experiences. Now, in this pipe called Gnani, in this case Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, there is a continuous flow of what is there? What flows in that pipe? What energy flows in that pipe?
The divine energy.
Divine love, compassion. And whenever he talks to somebody, Gnana, okay, that's called Gana Ganga, that starts flowing. And at the same time, he himself would be, in Ramakrishna Paramahamsa's case, it was very hard for him to interact with the world. Okay? It was you would find it extremely hard to understand what is going on, what are they talking about. Somebody goes and asks a question to, let's say, probably Ramana Maharshi. Ramana Maharshi there's a coherent conversation. You ask something, then he gives an answer. For Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, it was very, very hard to get the words that somebody spoke. Let's say somebody asked a question, what is God? The only thing he heard is God. Okay, and then he gets lost. He loses everything. He loses complete awareness of the world. Any small push would push him into absolute consciousness. Okay, it was very difficult for him to be grounded. Okay, talk about world, talk about family. It was very hard because all he needed was a pointer. If somebody said use the word in that question, how do I meditate? He goes into deep meditation. He jumps. It pushes him completely. Okay. The exact opposite happens to us. You're so anything that you see, it completely pushes you back into some thought pattern. Okay, you are never in the present moment, right? You see something, everything becomes a trigger to push you to the past. You have lost the past and you come to the present. Okay, you are eating some food that triggers something and pushes you to the past. You're having some experience that pushes you and you go back to the past. You always go back to the dead. Okay? In the same way, Ramakrishna always jumps back to pure consciousness. And that's why in this whole, there's a text called the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna. Okay, it is about how he lived his life. Every other page, they talk about he went into samadhi, he went into ecstasy. He just needs some trigger, something he sees, and so much so that after he talks to somebody, right? He talks to somebody and he comes to understand. Okay, this person is asking about the problem in the world or problem in his work. Next time he sees that person, one time he saw some person coming, and he went and hid under the bed. Okay, he locked all the doors and hid under the bed. Then one of his disciples came. He asked him, why are you hiding under the bed? He said, that person is coming. I'm very scared of him. Why are you scared of him? Because he only talks about money. He only talks about his business. How do I make my business grow? I can't help him. Okay, because I don't even understand. I'm so scared of him. That is the purity of Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa. He would just run away. Okay, he was exactly like a child. He would behave like a toddler. So pure, so clean, so innocent, but with the force and energy of Atmagnan. One conversation, one simple thing that he says would bring in an immense transformation. And that's what happened to Swami Vivekananda. Swami Vivekananda met him, when he met him for the first time, he asked him, have you seen God? Okay. What would you answer? Have you seen God? What did he say? What do you think a guru should say? Vedantin will tell, oh no, God cannot be seen. Seer is the God. Okay? Because God cannot be seen. What is seen is illusion. This one who sees is consciousness. Ramakrishna Paramahamsa told, I have seen. I'll show you also. Okay? The moment he said that, and Swami Vivekananda has never met a person like this, and you can see it in his eyes that he's not fooling you. He will show you right now. He will look at you. He's telling, I will show you God right now. You want to see? Now it's the problem of Vivekananda. He used to tell, am I ready to see or not? Okay. Same thing happened to Arjuna. Arjuna wanted to see. Krishna is all giving theory. Then Arjuna said, I understand now that you are Bhagavan. Please show me. Krishna puts a break, tells, you cannot see me with these eyes. Okay. You cannot see me. Then he has to prepare it. I'll give you a special eyes. Okay. Why do you need a special eyes to see God? Your eyes will blow out if you see God in the ordinary eyes. In a sense, I don't think I have a word for that. The magnanimity of reality will burn you completely. You cannot stand in front of it. Can it be seen? Yes. Can you see it? Yes. But will you be left after you see it? No. It transforms you, and it practically destroys your so-called known life. Life will not be the same after that. And you see that in the case of what happened to Swami Vivekananda. Life was no longer the same. For Arjuna, it was no longer the same. Krishna was telling all this theory, chapter 1, 2, 3, 4. Then Vishwarupa happened. Then that is experience. So it's always, Krishna is, my Guruji gives an example of jalebi. So there's a jalebi, and they go on explaining the jalebi. Jalebi is like this color, it has this sweet, this much sugar, this much ghee. Okay, that's all theory. The darshana is eating the jalebi. Okay. And the darshana, that's why it's called darshana. Darshana will, you can no longer be the same person. Okay. And Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa was such a great master, Yuga Avatar. And on that particular day, which they refer to as Kalpataru day, so what happens in Gnanis is, I told you, there's a constant flow, and even their body-mind keeps on evolving. In Maya, there is no such thing as no evolution. Maya means constant evolution, constantly better and better. Okay, so you look at the technology right now, constantly evolving. Is this it? No, there'll be something more. Okay, what is that more? You cannot imagine. Okay, right. So recently I read that the artificial intelligence is making paintings. Okay, so what it does is it makes original paintings. So it has gone through all the paintings in human history. It looks all images, and it spontaneously produces a piece of art. A machine can do it. Okay, so that is the advancement of technology. So in the future, there will be something more advanced. Okay, so in Maya, there's no such thing as this is it. There can be nothing more, but nothing more than this. So in that sense, even the body mind of the Gnani in existence is going through more and more evolution. Each Gnani is able to bring down more and more power of consciousness. That is why it is called Dashavatar. You have Dashavatar of Vishnu, right? This avatar, that avatar. And in each avatar, Vishnu becomes better than the previous avatar. Okay? The Krishna avatar is more powerful, for the sake of conversation, than the Rama avatar. Okay? More powers of consciousness are unleashed in the Krishna avatar. In that sense, the body mind of the Gnani is also undergoing evolution. And unknown and unseen and unthinkable and imaginable powers of consciousness keep coming out. Okay, so to tell that, oh, Gnana means this much, based on we've read of all these Gnanis, this is what a Gnani can do, this is what he can do, this is what he can't do, is a big mistake. What power, and that also applies to the condition of enlightenment. So Vedanta tells Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasa. You have to have Shravana, you have to listen to the teaching, you have to have Manana, you have to understand it, and you have to do Nididhyasa, contemplation. Then you get enlightenment. All these rules are worthless in the presence of a real Gnani, because he's spontaneous, full of possibility. Okay, what will come out of it through that pipe, we don't know. It can so happen, one touch and you are Brahma Varishta. One sight and something happens. So that's why there's a beautiful story it's a story in the Purana of Arjuna and Krishna. Arjuna and Krishna are taking a walk, and it's a very misunderstood story. Okay, a disclaimer I'll give you. Very, very misunderstood story. Krishna and Arjuna are walking in the park. Krishna looks at a crow. Arjuna also looks at a crow. There's a crow sitting on the tree. Krishna tells such a beautiful parrot. Okay. Have you heard the story? No? Krishna tells such a beautiful parrot. Arjuna says yes. Very, very beautiful parrot. Have you heard? No. It's a very, very beautiful parrot. Then Krishna tells, no, 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 Arjuna, you're being silly. It's not a parrot. Now I can see clearly. It's a swan sitting on a tree. Swan, how did the swan come on a tree? It's a swan. Arjuna says, oh my God, it's a swan. How did it come on a tree? It's a swan. Then Krishna tells, you're being very silly. It's not a swan. It's a pigeon. Arjuna says, yes, it's a pigeon. Okay. Then Krishna asks Arjuna, I've been telling you lies. You and I both know it's a crow. Okay, just because I'm telling you, just because you respect me, you don't have to be so foolish. Use your own head. Then Arjuna gives him gives a response. He tells Krishna, I know it's a crow. But if when you tell it's a parrot, if I tell it's not a parrot, it's a crow, by the time I blink, you'll make it into a parrot. Okay. Then if you tell it's a swan, I tell no, it's not a swan. If I argue with you, how long does it take for you to change it into this thing? Swan. So what he's trying to tell is, he acknowledges the all possibilities in Sri Krishna. Okay. So people use this story to manipulate people in the sense that Gnani is something else. The real meaning of the story is this: the Gnani is pure consciousness, and in pure consciousness, in that body mind, because the energy is flowing and divine energy is continually flowing, there can be things, there can be manifestations. The consciousness that can manifest 14 lokas can manifest anything. To say this is not possible is human mind. Okay. And this is what is the significance of Kalpataru Day, because it happened in 1886. It didn't happen in some other yuga. It didn't happen in Treta Yuga or Satya Yuga, Dwapar Yuga. It happened in our yuga. It happened our time. Okay, where a master, ordinary master, who doesn't have horns, beard, who doesn't have any sort of external glory, simply is in a state of Brahman. Simple inner realization. No external cause. I told you that he had cancer. Okay, he was suffering with cancer. Okay, such a person can touch you and liberate you. But there was no doubt in the disciple that this master only is suffering cancer. That's why he asked a question. That's why the whole unfolding starts with the question of who am I? Then when the disciple tells you are the highest, that means the disciple also has matured to a stage that he's not looking at the body of the master, he's not looking at the limitations of the body, he's not looking at the limitations of the mind, he's looking at the master, he's looking at the truth. And he's acknowledging, he's talking to that. So in that, the presence of the master and the presence of the evolved disciple, Kalpataru happens. Okay. And that Kalpataru, what does it give? Such an evolved disciple, what will he ask? Okay. Just with the touch, he also becomes a Ramakrishna. The touch, and the beauty is the touch. Why touch? The master can awaken in many ways. The awakening can happen in many ways. Broadly is sight, touch, speech, and thought. The master looks at you, and there's a transmission of, there's a awakening. The master touches. The touch is the most beautiful way of Shakti. It's called Shakti Path. It's the most beautiful way of transmission because the touch is what we all deeply crave. Okay, so Happy New Year! Everybody's partying. Okay, everybody's happy, but what everybody craves is a touch, loving touch. Somebody should hug me. Somebody should touch me in a way to comfort me, not to. You will know in the touch whether it's somebody is abusing you or somebody is lovingly touching you. And that goes back to our childhood. As a child, our whole experience is because of touch. So we navigate through touch. We know when somebody, there's a certain way that somebody touches. So in the school, right, you're walking in that line, somebody holds you in a certain way and pulls you out, your whole body starts shaking. Okay, that simple grasp sort of shakes you. Then you're crying, and your parent comes and comforts you with a comforting touch. It has a huge impact on your mind. Okay, then when you're thirsty for Atmagnan, for God realization, okay, with all the knowledge, you've done the sadhana, you've crossed over path of yoga, meditation, bhakti, everything is over. All lifetimes are over. Everything, all human effort is now over. Dead end. Okay, you're dead end. There's nothing more, and you also know that whatever you do is fruitless. You come to such a stage. At that point, the touch liberates. The touch of the master. Okay, it's like it's like a dry land that has never seen rain at all for hundreds and hundreds of years. Suddenly, there's rain. All that 100 years of heat is forgotten. When you're extremely thirsty, the moment the water hits your throat, you forget the suffering that you had for that water. Okay? That is what happens in the touch. So Jesus Christ came to he was traveling around. Then in one city, there's a woman who was chased. Okay? And everybody was chasing her with a stone. And they were all about to throw the stone. Then somebody said, one of Jesus' disciples told, don't do that. There is Jesus Christ here. He's the Son of God. He's a divine person. You ask his consent. And the leader of that gang who was throwing stones, he looks at Jesus, and he doesn't know Jesus. He just tells, yeah, I don't need your permission. I'm going to throw the stone. But he just has to, I'd like to hear what you have to say. Jesus asks, why are you throwing a stone at her? They're not ordinary stones, okay? They're really big stones. It will probably kill her if one of the stones hits in the wrong place. It will probably kill her. The leader says, so she's a prostitute. Okay? She has sinned. She has sinned with many men. She's a sinner. Then Jesus Christ he looks at the person and he says, fine. The one among you who has not sinned, let him throw the first stone. Then nobody throws a stone. It's in the public to accept that I have not sinned and throw the stone at that lady. They all throw the stones away and they all go. Then this lady, she comes. She comes and she cries at Jesus' feet. She cries, she holds the feet of Jesus and she cries. Then she realizes that she's touching Jesus. Okay. Then she goes back, she takes away her hand because in her emotion she didn't realize that she's touching him. Then Jesus touches her. Then she tells, you have touched me. Nobody touches me because I'm impure. Jesus tells, you have washed my feet with your tears. Okay? You are the most purest on the planet. And the touch of Jesus transforms her life. She becomes a disciple of Jesus. The touch is in the realm of human experience. To get the touch of the Master is a great divine blessing. So luckily, we all live in a time of Mata Amritanami, who not only touches you, but also hugs you. If you get an opportunity, go and get hugged by an enlightened Master. Okay. So this is the touch of the Master. When Ramakrishna touched all the people there, and they all went into divine ecstasy. Now, where did he touch? Did he touch the Agna Chakra? Did he touch the Sahasrara? Did he touch? Where did he touch? Should the touch be done in a specific part of the body? The Master has gone beyond all boundaries of body mind. Just an accidental touch will liberate you. Just an accidental sight, accidental conversation, accidental touch is enough to push you into to rather not push you, to dissolve the mind, to dissolve the thinking of the mind. Okay, that is the energy that it carries. So what is your role in that? You were there, just there at the right place at the right time. Okay, with the understanding that the person opposite to me is not a human being, not like me. Why that touch is able to transform you is because there is already an awakening in you of the possibility of enlightenment. Because you have acknowledged the Master, that means in your consciousness, you have already acknowledged the possibility that it's a possibility in life. You understand? If that opening was not there, nothing was possible. You have already acknowledged enlightenment as a possibility because you recognized it in some other person. Okay. Now that other is being dissolved. The Master is only removing the other. What is left is you. And that you is the pure Sat Chit Ananda. So Master is in that way not giving something new. He is only through his probably all his tactics, energy, Shaktipat, touch, sight, whatever, any tool, whatever technology, is only eliminating that which is standing as a wheel. Okay, and the wheel is always very thin, especially in front of a master. In front of you two master, you might think, oh, it's so big, my ignorance is so deep, my delusion is so much, okay, my journey is so far. All that seems like a very thin wheel in front of a master. And the thin wheel drops. Okay? And when it drops, it's the end. The end of your story. It's called Mukti. Any doubt? Any doubts in Kalpataru day? Do we go to Tripura Rahasya? Vivek, any doubt? No. Makes sense? Yes. Okay, now that was about Kalpataru day. Today is January 1st. It's always recognized as Kalpataru day because it always takes your mind to such possibilities. Okay. always the thought of the divine, thought of God is always still lower than the thought of Guru. Thought God is still imagination. Okay? But the Guru is embodied, human. So that's why I said Dhyana Moolam Gurur Murti. In the Guru Gita, Dhyana Moolam Gurur Murti, Puja Moolam Gurur Padam, Mantra Moolam Gurur Vakyam, Moksha Moolam Guru Kripa. The Dhyana Moolam, the core is the thought of the Guru. Because it always enforces and empowers the thought in you that you can be like that. With God, it always, no matter whatever path you're taking, it always enforces duality. That's why it's called bhakti. Bhakti means duality. Bhakti means it brings the premise of two people, the bhakta and the Bhagwan. Okay, so it always reinforces bhakta and Bhagwan. Bhakta is close to Bhagwan, bhakta is that to Bhagwan, all that is fine. But still, there is bhakta and Bhagwan. But the thought of Guru doesn't do that. The thought of Guru awakens parabhakti. The Guru is myself. Ishwaro Guru Atmeti. God, Guru, and myself, my inner self, are the same. My own inner self is appearing as Guru. Okay? So the thought of the Guru, the Kalpataru day, is a day, it's a great day that helps us always take our mind to this particular story and event, but reinforces the notion, the idea that it can happen with a mere touch. And such a being is possible. Such divinity is possible. And it's possible in you. And it's possible right now. Not after death. Not in certain conditions. Okay. That too, at that time, India was already in what is that? Under the rule of some other country. No external, no dependency on any special external situation. Just an ordinary place, a humble setting, a very ordinary person. Okay. No any extraordinary elaborate requirements on your part also. No inhibitions. Just a divine presence. And surrender and acceptance leads to the highest. That is the glory and beauty of Kalpataru. Okay, shall we go to Tripura Rahasya? So Tripura Rahasya, just to give you some background to it, it is a teaching of Bhagwan Dattatreya. You know about who is Bhagwan Dattatreya? You've seen, yeah. Who is it? Huh? Yeah. So Bhagwan Dattatreya is considered the avatar of Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva. All three together. Bhagwan Dattatreya. He lived during the Ramayana time. And at the same time, there was Parashurama, who was an avatar along with Sri Rama. And Parashurama is now depressed because he's lost against Rama. And now his job is done. He is gone around the world multiple times, killing all the Kshatriyas. Now he's come to Rama. He cannot kill Rama. He gets defeated. Now his job is done. The avatar's job is done. But he's depressed because of so much bloodshed. He's depressed. And he meets a Gnani called Samavarta in his wandering. And Samavarta points him to Dattatreya. That Dattatreya is your Guru, Guru Dattatreya. So Bhagavan Dattatreya is the Guru of Parashurama. He gives him the teaching of Tripura Rahasya. First, Bhagavan Dattatreya tells Parashurama to do Sri Vidya Upasana, which Parashurama does for 12 years, then comes back to receive Atmajnana. Okay. But when he comes back, he's no longer depressed. Now he's clear. He's clear of what is what, but he's still not got it. There's still a feeling that I still haven't got it. There's that he knows that something is missing. So he comes to Dattatreya to tell something is still missing. I still haven't got it. At that time, Bhagavan Dattatreya starts the teaching of Tripura Rahasya. So there's many other stories which we can take up later. Now, Dattatreya is telling a story of a lady called Hemaleka to Parashurama to explain to him some of the key essential teachings of Vedanta. Okay, to like how Sri Krishna is telling chapter 1, Karma Yoga, that yoga, this yoga. Same way, Bhagavan Dattatreya is giving the teaching, but he's giving this through the story. So in the last few sessions, we saw what happened in the story. In the story, there's this prince called Hemachuda. He sees this lady called Hemaleka in the forest. And Hemaleka is enlightened. Okay. Why? Because she grew up in the hermitage. Her stepfather is a sage. So she's grown up with the teachings and she's an enlightened person. But she's a very beautiful person. And Hemachuda falls in love with her. He asks her to marry him and they get married. They come back to the palace. And Hemaleka is not comfortable. Okay. She's not comfortable with the ignorance of her husband. And she wants to bring transformation in him. So he's always partying, always in sense pleasures, eating, drinking, dancing. She wants to bring transformation. She wants to give Atmangnana to him. But she cannot give Atmangnana to him because to give Atmangnana, the other person has to accept you as Guru. And there's no way that this prince will accept her as his Guru. So in the last few sessions, we've covered where she's bringing him to a point so that he can start recognizing, okay, this person is better than me. Okay. So the first strategy that she applies to bring up this conversation, how does she bring up this conversation? She doesn't arbitrarily bring up. Okay. She doesn't tell what nonsense are you doing? We have to focus on higher goals in life, all that. She doesn't do that. She starts from where he is. Okay. And where is he? He's at the body level. He only understands sense. He only understands sex. He only understands taste. He only understands pretty things. He only understands sensual pleasures. And he's stuck there. His entire day is only about that. Morning, get up, sensual things. Okay, something beautiful to eat, something nice to drink. The whole day goes in what is nice to look and go away from what is not nice. Okay, he's there. Now, how do you turn the attention of such a person? How do you, somebody who is so lost in beauty, how do you turn it away? You have to make the beauty appear as something else. Whatever he's seeing, you cannot change because he's a prince. He's in the palace. You cannot take him anywhere else. You cannot change. You cannot put him in a war and tell, see, there's suffering, see, there's blood, see, there's death. Okay? You have to show all that blood, death, and limitations in what he's seeing. So she starts with telling, the first question she asks is, what is happiness? Okay, that's the first blow that she gives. And every blow you have seen in the movies, no, all that old Mahabharata serial. So they will take the arrow and they'll tell some mantra and they'll shoot the arrow. That arrow will become 10 arrows, and then it will go hit the person. So that's how whatever she tells, it blows up into multiple thought patterns, multiple threads of inquiry. And Dattatreya is telling it because he's talking about the significance of inquiry to destroy ignorance. Okay, the key to destroying ignorance is to inquire into what you are seeing and perceiving. Is your perception real? So she's first addressing his perception of happiness. So she's asking, what is happiness? Please explain to me. He tells, so this is the most silliest question. You are a idiot village girl. Even animals know what is happiness. Okay? What is happiness? Eating, then sleeping, then sex, then just being roaming around. That's all that is happiness. Even animals know that. Then she comes up with a backup. What is that? Comeback. She tells, then what is the difference between you and animal? That startles the king, the prince. Oh yeah, correct. Animal also does it. I also do it. He starts thinking. Then what is the difference between me and animal? Then they have a long discussion. No, it's like this. It's like this. Then she gives multiple stories to break his concept of happiness, and ultimately she shows him that there is no happiness in any object of the world, using his own experiences through various stories. So she tells, okay, if this makes you happiness, gives you happiness, she gives an example of his father. His father is the king. The king is the most unhappiest person. The king has all the objects. Okay, if there's a competition of who has the most objects, it's the king. And who can get the most objects is obviously the king. Who can get the most land is the king. Who can get the most gold is the king. Who can get all the objects. So his argument is objects give me happiness. Like food is an object, gives me happiness. If I have this silk dress, it's happiness. So then she tells, the king has the ability to have the most objects, but he's the most unhappy. And look at your father. Okay. Now he cannot argue with that because he sees his father every day, and your father is always unhappy. Why king is always unhappy? Always he's in constant stress. Okay. Everything is around him, but it's like he's in a prison of gold. The king is like he's in a prison, but the prison is made up of gold. Everything he touches is gold, but it's still a prison. Okay? Then this breaks his concept of happiness. Then now he's interested. Okay, tell me more. Then she attacks his notion of beauty. Okay. You married me. She directly tells you married me because I'm beautiful. That he doesn't counter because that's truth. If I married you because you're beautiful. Then she asks him, what is beauty? He has no answer. What is beauty? What is beauty? What is beautiful?
A mental concept.
Huh?
Something that appeals to the senses.
Something that appeals to the senses is beautiful. Okay. Can you give me an example? Is there some beautiful object in the room?
That Air Force helmet is beautiful.
Air Force, the Air Force helmet is very beautiful. Okay. Somebody who lost their loved one in war, if they look at that object, what will they see? Repulsion. Yeah. Same object. So is the beauty in that object or in your head?
It's completely in the head.
Completely in the head. So she explains, she tells a story. I'll not get into the story. So story she explains this concept that your notion of something is beautiful, something makes me happy, and why she's addressing it, because that's what you want. Because that's what drives you. What is desire? Desire is for something that makes me happy and something that is beautiful. Is that something else? Do you desire for unhappiness and ugliness? Right? Everybody only desires for happiness and something that is beautiful. Okay, that's why you see on social media all that expression of beauty. People will never put a picture in an ugly place. The place has to be beautiful. It is a very choreographed, simulated image. Okay, there's a lot of work put into the skin, then dress, then layout, then lighting. Okay, it takes a lot to make that beautiful image. And a beautiful image keeps everybody trapped. Then that tells everybody this is what you should also aspire for. And then you don't know it as a child. As a child, you observe people. You observe people always moving towards certain kind of things and moving away from certain kind of things. With that movement, you program yourself where to go, where not to go. You understand? You see your parents, they talk to somebody in a certain way. You program yourself. That's how these kind of people need to be spoken to. Let's say your role models. As a child, your parents are the heroes. As a child, you see the parent, let's say, talking to a particular skin, somebody with let's say, darker skin in a certain way. You program yourself to move in that direction. Okay, and that also brings the programming of beauty. Where did you get the beauty? Concept of beauty is very far back. He said that object is beautiful. Why? Why is that beautiful? What does that represent?
To me, represents the values that I respect a lot, like valor, patriotism.
Yeah, so that object represents another object of beauty, which is, let's say, a man in a uniform. Okay? So the man in the uniform is beautiful, but the man in the uniform is not even beautiful. Let's say the man in the uniform is corrupt, then he's no longer beautiful. But still, the concept of man in uniform is beautiful remains because of that. What that represents? That represents some qualities like courage, sacrifice, and all those things. Okay, and all those things are subjective. They're part of you. They cannot be objectified. Can they be objectified? Let's say courage. Courage. How will it be objectified? You can show an action of courage, but that itself is not courage. Courage is more than that. So what is beautiful is subjective, is pure. It can never be boiled down to an object. Okay? Now, whenever it's boiled down to an object, that moment itself, it's limited. It's open to many perception. Example I gave you of that helmet. Person who won the war, so that helmet becomes very beautiful. Person who lost the war, that helmet becomes repulsive. So what is beautiful is object or subject? It's always object. Sorry, it's always subject. Another example I'll give you is a beautiful woman. Okay, Miss Universe. Everybody is enchanted by the object. Now, is it the object? No, it is what that object represents. And what that object represents. What does a beautiful woman represent? I give you the example of this helmet, right? Helmet represents army uniform, man in uniform. Man in uniform represents courage, sacrifice, all the highest ideals. Higher ideals than a normal ideal. Okay? And that is subjective. And all those higher ideals are ultimately qualities of consciousness, qualities of a gnani. You understand? Courage is actually the quality of the highest, the purest courage. The highest form of courage is only seen in the gnani. Nobody else you can see. Example, I told you the story of Alexander. Alexander had two masters, Aristotle and Diogenes. So Diogenes is a guy in a pot. He lives in a pot. Then Alexander is walking the streets. and he stands in front of the pot. And inside the pot, Diogenes is sitting. Diogenes is a Gnani. Diogenes says, "Hey, you, move this side. You're blocking the sunlight into my house." That is courage. Okay, he sees the entourage of Alexander, soldiers who will just kill him in 1 second. But he says, "Move. You're blocking sunlight." That is courage. A fraction of that is trickles down. Okay, that is beautiful. Courage is beautiful. Now, a beautiful woman, what does she represent? Anybody can answer? Where is Saumitra? Saumitra, have you seen any beautiful women, Saumitra?
Yes, Delhi.
Daily. Okay. So, what is a beautiful? Did you get the question?
If you could repeat once again.
Okay. So, did you get the part about how we looked at the army helmet, Air Force helmet?
Yeah.
Okay. So, with the same background, what makes a beautiful woman beautiful? What does she represent that people go crazy?
Basically, it's a concept which has been kind of brought into our minds from our childhoods, right? So that's how we, because if you see South African tribes, their concept of beauty is totally different than what we perceive, because they don't have the same concepts what we were taught in our
So,
childhood,
you tell
right?
me your concept. What does a beautiful woman represent?
Pleasure to, let's say, the panchendriyas or the senses which we have.
So, basically, sex. So, the beautiful woman is twofold. When you look at the woman, you are aspiring for two things, and both those things are inner experiences. One, the company of the woman. If that person is next to me, I am better. There's a deep notion that I am incomplete. So always the beautiful woman or man or woman, both, the beautiful woman or man next to me makes me more than what I am, completes me. Okay, which is actually that is the first thing. The second thing is, of course, there is some sensual experience that you get, which is also an inner experience. And what is the peak of that inner experience? What is the peak of sexual experience? No individuality. Okay. In the act, you lose momentarily individuality. That's why you crave for it. You don't crave for the act, you crave for the impact that it has on you. A complete expansion. No meanness. Same that you get in deep sleep. Okay, but you get it momentarily with that. So both these two things are about your own inner self. No limitations and no individuality is what you seek through a beautiful woman or a man. Okay? The moment they start doing the opposite, they become ugly. Okay? The moment you go near the beautiful woman and she starts creating suffering in your life and makes you feel more miserable than what you were, she becomes ugly. You understand? You got married thinking that the person will complete me. Then the marriage brought suffering. Then you become worse than what you were earlier. Okay, this is the problem. So this Himaleka is trying to explain. Is everybody understanding? Any doubt so far?
I just wanted to add, I just realized even the concept of beauty is also so relative and subjective, because unless he told that it's an army helmet, until then somehow when I was like watching the video, that one particular thing was very repelling to me.
Okay.
I found it extremely ugly. I'm sorry. But yeah, even from the beginning of the class, I found that particular object to be very ugly. I'm sorry if I'm saying this, but sorry, Vivek.
You offended
But
everybody. Okay, so beauty, she breaks, Himalika breaks the concept of beauty. Then what has happened? Anybody else has still holding on to any concept of beauty? Anything beautiful in the world? There are things in the world. There are objects in the world. Okay, and objects are perceived by your senses. Everything else is your masala that you add. Okay, there is no such thing as beauty or ugly in the world, except Atma, except a Gnani. Okay, everything in the world is what? If something is not beautiful, it is not ugly. What is it? If something is
I'm
neither beautiful nor
confused.
ugly, what is it inherently?
Energy.
It is divine. Okay. The moment it is divine, that means you're no longer using your mind. When you perceive something as divine, that's why Prahalada is able to tell God is there in this, God is there in this pillar, God is there in that pillar. Okay. The pillar is neither beautiful, neither ugly. The pillar is divine. Why? Because his mind is not operating. His mind is not, the mind is able to see the pillar. The mind is not adding anything extra onto the pillar. You understand? But whenever you see the world, you always add many extras. Okay? The simplest of the simplest object is not seen for what it is. It is seen always extra. Much more than what it is. A book is not seen as a book. Book is seen, the book represents, oh, I am ignorant. It has so many mental connotations. Other person is more educated, I am less educated. Okay, I have not read this, that means I am lower. The mind has its, we don't know the web, so many fractals of thinking patterns. Okay, self assumptions, self limitations, which has nothing to do with you reading the book. Okay, and this distorts your experience of life. The moment the mind shuts down, the book becomes a book. Okay, you see things as they are. No more coloring. There's no, the mind doesn't add any color. So Ramakrishna Paramahansa used to tell a story. There was a man a magician who came to a village, and he had a pot, a magic pot. He told, you can bring any cloth. Just bring a cloth. I'll put it into the pot. It's a dye cloth. It's a dye pot, dyeing pot. Whatever color you wish in your head, when you remove the cloth will be of that color. Okay. So somebody came, they bought a white cloth. They told, okay, put it in the pot. I want a red cloth. Somebody told green, like that. So many people came. Then came a man who gave a piece of cloth, and he told, I want that cloth to be the color of the dyer, to be the color of that which is dyeing it. What is that color? Okay. Then the cloth didn't come out. So that is the truth. Going beyond all labeling, all programs, all coloring of the mind, just to see what it originally is. And what originally is, it is consciousness, it is divine. There's nothing in the world which is not divine. Is it in my experience? Is it in your experience? It is. When you go into your dream, an entire dream world is created. Is there anything beautiful or ugly in the dream world? you see the Eiffel Tower in the dream world. That is your own mind. You see some person, that is your own mind. Whatever you see a mountain, you see the sky. Everything that you see is your own mind. It is you. Okay? Similarly, the whole world, the waking world that you see, is nothing but Bhagwan. There is nothing else. All objects are Bhagwan, and all subjective experience is Bhagwan. Because all subjective experiences, if you inquire, go back to the core subjective experience, which is Sat Chit Ananda. Every single thing gets consumed in the pure subjective experience. All objects get consumed in what? In the seer. Like you see the dream world. The dream world is nothing but the one who is seeing it, right? So all objects get consumed as the seer. The seer is nothing but subjective experience. All subjective experience get consumed as pure subjective experience, which is Sat Chit Ananda. Nothing else is there. Everything else is your mental game, and that is what is today's chapter. In today's chapter, we've come to the part of the story where she tells all this, and she completely messes his head. He's not able to function now. He's grown a beard. He's become weak. He's not able to enjoy. If he goes to a party, he only thinks about what she said. Okay. Then he goes and, like Vivek, he has so much. He's royal, right? He has a lot of scriptures in the library. He goes and reads all the scriptures. The moment he reads the scripture, he thinks, "What the hell am I doing? I'm so young. I have to be party." So he's stuck. He's neither able to understand, neither able to enjoy. So he becomes depressed, and he goes into a room, dark room. He doesn't come out. So we're at that part of the story. Now Hemalika comes back to him. So following so far, should I anything that we missed? Any doubts? Is it interesting or boring?
It's interesting because it's opened up new perspectives. And also I realized a lot of suffering comes from the labeling part of it. Like just when he said it's a helmet, until then in my mind I had labeled it as a head of a bear, something like that. So maybe that's why I found it repelling. And when Vivek told it's an army helmet, suddenly there was a newfound respect for it and a newfound love for it. Until then, I
For
found
what?
that
For what?
I mean, just taking the example of the object, until Vivek said it's an army helmet, in my
Okay.
mind I had labeled it as a head of a bear because it looked like a bear. It looked like a bear from the video.
Okay.
So suddenly when he said it's an army helmet, my perception of it changed suddenly, and there was a newfound respect for it, newfound liking for it. So even the concept of like and dislike is like constantly changing based on the labeling that we give.
Yeah. Your mind is so fragile. Okay. The same thing becomes sugar, same thing becomes sand. Okay. Same marriage is sugar, after some time, same marriage becomes sand. Same child is sugar until they don't start learning how to speak. Okay. The same child becomes sand after some time. Okay. Same job is giving you a lot of salary is sugar. Same job becomes sand. Same object becomes sugar or sand. Now, what is the insight in this understanding? How is it useful? Okay, it's sugar and sand. So what? So everything. That means you choose what you experience. Okay. The place, you go to some place and you say, oh, I'm not comfortable here. You can make the place divine. Okay. You can affect the place. That's why it's called, there's a word, a beautiful word called Tirthankara. Have you heard this word called Tirthankara? The Jains have Tirthankara. You know what's Tirthankara? Tirtha means pure, holy. That's why it's called Tirtha Kshetra. You go to a Tirtha Kshetra, like a Char Dham or some Tirtha Kshetra. A Tirthankara is one who can create a Tirtha Kshetra. Tirtham Karoti Tirthani. The person makes the place into a Tirtha, not the other way around. Whereas everybody else goes to the Tirtha Kshetra to become pure, the Gnani puts his purity into the place and makes that pure. Okay, so we're talking about Ramakrishna Paramsa. Ramakrishna Paramsa, before he was there, that place is not known. The moment he is born, that becomes a Tirtha Kshetra. So there's a place called Tiruvannamalai here. Nobody cares before. Then one Ramana Maharshi came. Then there's a whole city built simply because the Gnani came. Now it becomes a Tirtha Kshetra. Tirtham Karoti Tirthani. When you realize your consciousness, all your false perceptions have dropped, and you have now the liberty to be at rest regardless of any external object or situation. And that is what is the Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita is Krishna and Arjuna are on the battlefield, the same battlefield, but Sri Krishna is in a Tirtha Kshetra, he's in a Dharma Kshetra. Dharma Kshetre, Kurukshetre, Samaveta Yutsava. Krishna is in Dharma Kshetra, Tirtha Kshetra. Arjuna is in Kurukshetra. But what is Dharma Kshetra, Kurukshetra? Both are the same place. One geography is referred to with two notions. And why is that so? Is in this chapter, in the first shloka of this chapter, chapter number 7. So Hemachuda is depressed, and now she's pushing him more. Now she's only trying to get him to see that he starts seeking from her, that he starts accepting her as a guru. Okay, simply so he can be uplifted. He's depressed, and she tells him all the problem is because of mind. There is no other problem. There is no other problem in the world. Because he's now depressed, he's asking, okay, because if I see I have to solve this problem, I have to solve that problem for me to be peaceful, I have to solve so many problems, only then can I be peaceful. She tells nothing. All the problems are in your mind. Mind alone is the problem. Is it true or false? Any problem that you have in life, so then you say, no, how is it a problem? There's a war going on, there's a recession going on. That is a problem. Right? It's not me. There's there's some war going on, some recession going on, or this other person. I have a relationship with the other person. That person is abusive, toxic, whatever. That is a problem. The street roads are a problem. Corrupt politicians are a problem. I've already named 5. Okay. Then what else is a problem? So many. Always the external thing is a problem. Okay. Then how do you say mind is a problem?
The way it perceives.
Right now in your life, what is the problem? Some external situation? This is somebody who loses job. Mind is not the problem. It's the external situation.
Mind is creating that fear. If it doesn't create that fear, then losing job also is not.
So nothing from the external world is a problem, because ultimately everything is inert, it's object. Okay. I told you the story of Viktor Frankl, right? He was in a concentration camp. There, the people are paid to give suffering to you. Okay, come and beat you, torture you. Even in such a situation, he tells, there are people who are peaceful. Of course, there are people definitely who are distraught, but there are also people in the same situation who are peaceful. Why is that so? Is because the same situation, they're able to see it in a different way. Now, what is this sight? What is this see in a different way? So all very easy to tell, because you don't have the problem. You tell, no, somebody, I have a problem. It's always somebody who doesn't have the problem will come and give you advice. Okay, then you will think naturally, oh, you don't have the problem, that's why you don't understand. When you have the problem, you'll also behave the same way, and that person does, probably even worse than you. Okay. So, what is this different sight? For this, you have to understand what is the mind. So, what she's now trying to explain is, she's trying to illumine the games of the mind. It's all a mind game, she tells. The same mind, Mana, as Krishna also tells in the Bhagavad Gita, Mana eva karanam manushyana bandha mokshayo. So there's a swimmer, I forgot his name. It's a famous American swimmer who won 34 gold medals. You know his name? There's currently there's a American swimmer who's won a lot of Olympic medals. Okay, he's a top person.
Michael Phelps.
He's won,
Michael Phelps.
Michael Phelps. Michael Phelps, right? He won 34 gold medals. And nobody in the history of humankind has won so many gold medals. Now, somebody, naturally people are curious. They asked him how you're doing it. First thing he tells is, I have a coach. All Olympic players have a coach. Simple logic is, first thing you have to understand is, you need a coach. Somebody who can fill the gap, somebody who can push you, somebody who can guide you. Then he says, the coach, he teaches me to use my mind to become successful. So what the coach's name is Ben or something. He taught him visualization techniques, and it's a very it's actually an ancient yogic technique. So what he does is, Michael Phelps, he visualizes himself playing all the games. In that visualization, he consciously loses, he consciously wins, and it's so detailed that he consciously thinks of all the possible things going wrong. He consciously thinks that eye gear getting stuck, or water entering there, or the eye gear breaking, or him losing breath, or somebody cheating. Whatever he can think of, he visualizes, and in each visualization, he comes out successful. So he uses his mind as his friend to get the result that he wants. Okay? By embracing all the other possibilities. What it simply does is, it trains his mind when the actual thing happens, right? Because he's already been through it so many times in his mind, he's able to handle it better. Not that he doesn't have challenges. The challenge comes when he's playing the game, but he's already seen that challenge mentally.
They're using this technique in Formula F1 training now.
Okay.
Where the driver has to visualize, not simulation.
Yeah.
Simulation is separate.
Right.
They would visualize the entire path.
Correct.
Competing.
Yeah.
They have to visualize them getting into accidents.
Yeah.
They have to visualize them taking sharp turns.
Yeah.
We have to go around the path.
Yeah.
2-3 times till they memorize the path.
Correct.
Then they need to sit and
Visualize. Yeah. So it's not an easy activity, first thing. Because the mind becomes, the mind first telling you, what is this nonsense? Let me go and actually do it. The mind always needs to move. It cannot sit still. It is a more difficult activity than practice, actual practice. Actual practice is easy. Actually swimming in the water is easy. Actually going around this thing is easy because your mind is put to work. But visualizing is difficult. Why? It requires your mind to be disciplined. First of all, it requires your mind to believe in the process. The moment it believes in the process, you've already become better. You've already acknowledged a higher intuition. So then you visualize. Then to do it multiple times, it gets boring. It gets redundant. What am I doing? But the process itself becomes rewarding because the mind starts seeing all the possibilities. Yes, this can happen. This can happen. This can happen. Then he says he does this visualization. Then when in the actual match, when he does face a challenge, he's able to navigate through. Okay? It can be a new challenge which he has not visualized, but still he can navigate through. Why? He has now the habit of navigating through. His mind is now habituated to solving problems. It doesn't have to be a problem that already solved. The mind is habituated to solving problems. Right now, typically in ignorance, the mind is habituated to creating problems. People are problem creators. Jahan bhi jao, wherever you go, first thing you see negative. Not work out. Especially popularly parents. No, nahi hoga. Tumse nahi hoga. Right? They have become problem creators. That moment they've created a problem for an entire lifetime of the child. You understand? So, and that is the importance of the coach. The coach is not a parent. Coach is a problem solver. His only job is to how can I solve problems. So this person has a goal, he has to win gold medal. It's very clear. There's an end goal, gold medal. And this person is here. My job is whatever comes in between problem, I have to remove it. That is a coach. Parent is typical parent. I'm not generalizing. How much obstacle can I put in between? Okay. I'm just roughly using the word parent, but typically ignorance, ignorant association. In ignorant association, always, right? Always putting difficulties. Ye hoga, wo hoga, this will happen. Okay, and that is why these people know. Even the PV Sindhu, I was watching one of her interviews. For many, they would do what is called as tapasya. Tapasya has very strict rules. They don't touch their phone. They don't be on social media. Why? The moment you're on social media, somebody will put some barrier. Okay. What they will do, they'll put a barrier that you don't have to put so much effort to get gold and be happy. Just go to this place and be happy. Okay. Just get married and be happy. So what it does, it demotivates the performer, which is again a mental concept. So they're very strict. They are very far away from, and this is what is called satsanga. So in the first chapter of Tripura says about satsanga. Dattatreya tells importance of satsanga. You have to have the association with the coach. This is Sadguru. You have to have the association with satsanga. Somebody who is collaboratively problem solving, not collaboratively problem creating. So nowadays, because of the ignorance, because of exposure to technology, families have become problem creators for themselves. The husband, the wife, the children. Okay? Children are constantly on the phone. Okay, you tell me one child of yours who is not on the phone. They're constantly on something that they cannot appreciate and understand, exposed to something which they cannot filter out, being programmed by something which itself is a garbage of multiple programs. Okay, so it becomes to achieve any small task, The simple task of sitting with a book for half an hour becomes a magnanimous task for a child now because of the hurdles in between. It cannot cross. It cannot cross until there's a coach. Either the parent has to take the role of a coach, and the coach's job is hard. It's not an easy job. It is to make the person focused on the goal. And that's what is the guru's job also. Ramana Maharshi always asks, who is asking the question? Because he's always pointing at the goal, which is self. So in spirituality, it is very important to have somebody who's always pointing at the goal, which is the self. Otherwise, everybody is pointing at the hurdle. Somebody wants to get enlightened. Everybody wants to put a hurdle. Oh, it will take so much sadhana. It will take so much tapasya. What? You are working in, you're in a city enjoying, you have to become sannyasi. So all these concepts becomes hurdle. So how do you navigate? One is you have to get the teaching. And the second is you have to use your own mind. Mana eva karanam manushanam bandha moksha. So that's why Himalaya is telling about the mind is, your mind plays a key role. You have to use your own mind to help yourself. In the process, what will happen is you will understand what all is hidden in your mind. Right now, you don't know what is hidden in your mind. All the hidden tendencies will come out of the mind. Hidden voices, they're called. The voice of your father, the voice of your mother, the voice of your first standard school teacher who told you you cannot do it. The voice, so many voices. Or the voice, there can be empowering voices also. The wife, only the voice of your grandparent who told you, I support you. Right? So all these voices come up. Then you have to be in a stage where you have to choose what I listen to, what I don't listen to. Typically, this cannot happen when you are doing action. Like while Phelps is in the water, he cannot do it. It needs an exclusive time, and that exclusive time is called tapasya. You understand? Is it making sense? Shanti ji, Vishari ji, Suman, Kundan ji.
Yes, Guruji. Now this handling the mind to deal with this visualization technique.
Yeah.
It is something that you would recommend for us to explore and
Absolutely. Why the question? See, what happens is, should I explore it or not? If you don't explore it, what happens?
I will not get a chance to know.
Now, typically, mind is run by unconscious and subconscious impressions, patterns. So mind is 4 layers: unconscious, subconscious, conscious, and superconscious. Okay? Unconscious, subconscious, conscious, superconscious. What is unconscious? Unconscious is very deep-rooted impressions. You cannot even articulate them. Okay? They're deep-rooted programs, and they're fundamental programs. Those are the programs that take care of your body. Okay? For example, your digestion, your heart beating, the recovery in the body. Okay, there's a cut in the body has to heal. For that, there is no thought required. The body itself fixes it. Okay. Then your genes. Genes are one example of your unconscious mind. The genes are the deepest layer of unconscious mind. Okay. They carry data in them which you don't know yet. Okay, what is going to be your hairline in 10 years? What is going to be your waistline in 10 years? What is going to be your disease in some time? What food, if you eat at what age, will trigger what disease? All that is there in the gene right now, but you don't have access to it. That is called unconscious mind. It is mind. It is part of mind, but it is unconscious mind. And the beauty of Buddha, we were talking about Buddha last class, right? The beauty of Buddha is, Buddha through Vipassana became aware of all the layers of the mind. Through Vipassana, he penetrated the unconscious mind also. That means he was able to unlock the data in the unconscious mind, which is future, what is going to happen biologically, through just witnessing the mind, body. So unconscious mind. Then the subconscious mind. What is subconscious mind?
Repeated telling, repeated instructions.
All your learnings, past learnings, not only of this lifetime, or many lifetimes. Okay, and that is that is what got you into a certain place in the world, that gave you a certain composition. You react in a certain way, you talk in a certain way, okay, and then you learn how to behave. All that is subconscious mind. For example, driving. You didn't know how to drive, then you learned how to drive, then your subconscious mind learned how to do it. Okay, it became a program. Now you don't need to use your conscious mind while driving. Your subconscious mind takes over. So while driving, your conscious mind can be listening to music or talking something else, right? Is subconscious mind clear? Any doubts in subconscious mind? Then there is conscious mind. Conscious mind is what you think you are at this moment. At this moment, you think I am conscious. But that thought is also coming from the subconscious. Okay? The subconscious has another program to give a thought that I am conscious. So if I ask you right now, arbitrarily, are you conscious? Are you conscious? You will tell yeah without thinking. That yeah without thinking is unconscious mind, subconscious mind. A conscious mind will not give an answer. It will evaluate, am I conscious? It will see, am I really conscious? Do I know how I'm keeping my legs? Do I know how my hands, what position my hands are in? Do I know what my breathing is? Do I know how I'm sitting? It will evaluate and then it will give a response. You understand? But immediately you will give yeah, I'm conscious. You will be sitting like this. Are you conscious? Yeah, I'm conscious. You don't even know how you're sitting. Right? You don't even know that posture is not good for the body. That is subconscious mind. Then conscious mind. Conscious mind is very hard to get. Conscious, all the tapasyas for becoming more conscious. All the tapas we hear, right? is simply to become conscious, nothing else. To be aware of how my body is, how my mind is, so that I can choose what to do is what is right, based on evaluation of what is right and wrong. Not just arbitrarily do it. Not on some whim, not on some fancy, not on some gut feeling, not on something that I can't validate. With a very conscious presence, I can choose to say, to do, to think, to respond. And the entire system of Zen is that. In Zen Buddhism, the Japanese, they have taken this aspect of what Buddha taught, becoming conscious, and applied it to everything. Sweeping the floor, walking, making tea. For everything they have a process. Okay? Cutting the vegetable, cutting the meat, hunting, killing a human being, samurai, right? For everything is a conscious process for them. Unconsciously, you're not supposed to do anything. Have you seen the movie called Last Samurai? Has anybody seen? You watch the movie called Last Samurai. In that, they give an exposure to the lifestyle of the warriors of Japan, called the samurais. For them, everything is meditation. The samurais will wash their sword, very slow process. Unconsciously, they'll not do anything. So that, why they do that? They all aspire for a conscious death. They live all this, why they do? So that when I die in the battlefield, I die consciously. I should not die unconsciously. Because if I die unconsciously, something else I'll create. I should die consciously. So, Sheshariji, to answer to your question is, if I don't do this, if I don't do something consciously, what will run my life? The unconscious and subconscious will run my life and give me the illusion that I am running my life. You understand? That is why even masters like Buddha, right? Buddha or any Gnani for that matter, even after Gnana, they continue sadhana. Sri Krishna tells in the 3rd chapter, in the Karma Yoga, he tells, I don't have to do anything in the world. There is no karma for me. But still, I wake up and I do all karma perfectly. He doesn't have to do sadhana. He doesn't have to do tapasya. But why does he do it?
To consciously do things.
No unconsciousness should take over. Mind should be completely conscious. When that happens, when the mind is start becoming conscious, then I told you 4th level. What is the 4th?
Superconscious.
Superconscious starts trickling in the conscious mind. Until you come to a conscious mind, the superconsciousness you will not recognize. Even the superconscious will be your notions of your subconscious will operate as a superconscious. Okay. There's one person who met my Guruji tells a story. It's a real story. A person came and met him in South Canada. He's a doctor. He's an Ayurvedic doctor. And he's an Ayurvedic doctor. And in treatment, he tells a story. The Ayurvedic doctor told, I believe in my Guru. Who is his Guru? His Guru is Ramakrishna Paramahamsa. Okay? I believe in my Guru. My Guru always takes care of my life. So Guruji asked him, okay, why do you say so? Because you've never interacted with Ramakrishna Paramahamsa. How can you be sure? So the Ayurvedic doctor told some story where he treated a patient and something went wrong. He did something that he should not have done. Okay. And something went wrong. And this person chanted the Guru's name and blindly did some action and everything became fine. Through fluke, that situation that could have got escalated was fine. So, in ignorance, you superimpose unconscious notions on the subconscious. Something is happening in your life. You have no understanding of what the subconsciousness is, but you put some delusion on it. God is helping me. That's what whole religion is based on, no? In some part of the world, where you kill the other person ruthlessly and tell God is doing it. For God, I'm doing it. So your unconscious ignorance, you're superimposing on the superconscious. Any doubt?
Guruji, when you say superconscious is more alert form of the consciousness. I mean, yeah.
Superconscious, conscious mind is alertness. Superconscious is awareness. Conscious mind is alertness is a quality of a conscious mind. Awareness is superconscious, sakshi. Okay, which is almost beyond the mind. Superconscious is awareness, pure awareness. That pure awareness, when the mind becomes conscious, it starts operating through the conscious mind. But to give you an example of how this works, this is the exact thing that happens in the presence of a master. In the presence of the master, your unconscious and subconscious patterns are beaten down. The moment you open your mouth, if you say something, if the master sees it's coming from the unconscious and subconscious mind, the master will slaughter it. Okay? The unconscious and subconscious mind they go back. They don't dare to come out. What you're left with the conscious mind. That's why you receive the teaching. Okay. So in that conscious mind, an insight opens up. That is the operation of superconscious mind. The superconscious mind has touched the conscious mind. That is a proof. You understand what I mean? Sheshariji? You get that aha, no? Ah, I understood it. Right? You listen to probably the teaching. So I gave you the example of dreaming state, right? How every object is consciousness. Did you understand it? Did you understand it?
Sorry, Guruji, did you say object is?
I gave an example, no? I told every object is consciousness because in your dream you see many objects. All that is your dream mind, right? Did you understand that analogy?
Mm-hmm.
That understanding happened because the subconscious mind touched the conscious mind. And don't think it to be ordinary, okay? You understood it. Somebody else whose mind is very disturbed cannot understand it. They'll tell what stupid logic this is. So whenever I'm talking, you're able to understand what I'm saying, right? That the teachings of Vedanta you're able to understand, right? You're getting that, yes, this is truth. Right? Have you got that? Yes, this is truth. That yes, this is truth is superconscious mind reflecting in the conscious mind.
Could you repeat the last sentence? The superconscious is?
So the awareness is pure, silent. It doesn't say anything, it doesn't do anything. But that awareness can reflect. Okay? When you do vichara in this process, where we are doing vichara, Atma Vichara, in the Atma Vichara, what is happening? The unconscious mind anyway is unconscious. It's taking care of the body and all that. It's fine. The subconscious mind is a problem. The subconscious mind is always thought pattern. So we have beaten down the subconscious thought patterns like concept of reality, concept of duality, concept of beauty, concept of happiness. All that we have beaten it down, knocked it out with Atma Gnan. Correct? So now, in the dialogue, the subconscious mind will not raise its hood. It's not dead yet. It's there, but it will not raise its hood in the presence of the master. Correct? True or false? Okay. If it raises its hood, the master will ask, who is asking the question? Then again it will go back. Okay, because subconscious doesn't have answer to that question. Because subconscious only programs. And what is program? Identities. I am body, I am mind, I am Sheshadri, I had this experience. All concepts it has. Okay, all identities. It's a bundle of identities. Now, when the identities are questioned, now identity is real. So the subconscious doesn't raise its hood. So far, is it clear? The unconscious and the subconscious are quiet. Now, what is left? Conscious mind is left. For the conscious mind, the Guru is asking a question, vichara. The question now is, for example, the question is, are you conscious? Is the question for the conscious mind. What is the answer?
Yes, consciously listening.
Are you conscious? Are you in a conscious state? So you understood the 4 states, right? Unconscious state, subconscious state, conscious state, superconscious state. Are you right now in a conscious state?
When you ask the question, I'm in a conscious state.
No. Don't say answer. Take 20 seconds and think what the answer is. Are you in a conscious state? Genuinely think, are you in a conscious state? Put the light on yourself. And when I say you, everything is included. Body, mind, intellect, identity, everything. Everything here is you. Jada and Chetana, everything. Okay. Now, are you in a conscious state?
No.
Why did you say no?
There are so many things that I'm not
so
conscious of.
there are so many things that insight came from the subconscious mind, from awareness. It didn't come from your subconscious or unconscious. Neither it came from the conscious. It came from gnana, directly from awareness. That is the play of Shiva in mind. Otherwise, Shiva is silent. Awareness is silent. It doesn't say anything. But the gnana starts operating. That is why it's called Atma Gnana. Gnanagni Dagda Karmani. So that gnana, now you put the light on yourself, right? Your body, mind, and whatever you know as you. Whatever was not you went into the background. Whatever was wrong, illusion, burnt out. Yesterday I had gone to the gold store to buy gold. We had an old gold jewelry, a broken ring. We gave that for exchange. So they sent us upstairs to the goldsmith. The goldsmith, what he does is that gold ring, which has so many designs, he puts it under flame. In a matter of seconds, it becomes pure gold. Okay, no design is left. It becomes original form. Okay, only what is the essence is left. Nothing else is left. This is what gnana does. The moment you ask the question, do vichara, it's like putting that fire. That fire, what it will do, all that is unnecessary coloring, subconscious, unconscious, it will burn down. It will silence it. Only what is essence is left out. And what is lesser essence has to be recognized as thought, right? And that can only happen in the conscious mind. In superconscious, it's silence. In conscious, that silence is articulated as an answer. So awareness is pure. Awareness is silence. Your answer that I am not completely aware came from awareness. Your answer, you told the answer genuinely, right? No, I am not conscious. That is truth, insight. And that insight didn't come from unconscious or subconscious. It came from awareness. But awareness doesn't speak. When I say came from awareness, it came because of the silence of awareness, superconscious. So, Hige, in this process, so your question was, should I do the visualization technique or not? Or should I do tapasya? If you don't do it, what happens is your unconscious patterns take over. Unless you're completely established in the superconscious. Gnani doesn't have to do it because Gnani is established in the superconscious. Okay? Even after the Gnani is established in the superconscious, the body mind will have some unconscious pattern. Like I told you the example of Nisargadatta Maharaj. Nisargadatta Maharaj used to smoke. Does he smoke unconsciously or consciously? You know who is Nisargadatta Maharaj? He wrote a book called I Am That. He is a disciple of forgot his name, Siddheshwarji Maharaj. He is a Gnani. He lived in Maharashtra. Many of the quotations I used to share on the group was Nisargadatta Maharaj's quotations. He's a Gnani. His teaching is like very similar to Ramana Maharshi's teaching. So Nisargadatta Maharaj used to smoke. Okay. Is he doing it consciously or unconsciously?
Unconsciously. The reason the thought that came to me that it is unconscious, because if it was conscious, when he wants to smoke, the question is like, who wants to smoke? Or that process of asking the questions, oh, Manas wants this.
Don't give the
drop.
answer unconsciously. You're giving the answer unconsciously. Think consciously and tell me the answer. Does Nisarga Maharaj smoke consciously or unconsciously?
Consciously.
The meaning of doing something consciously is you are not a program, you are the master. Is Nisarga the master or slave? He is doing, there is some unconscious pattern in the body, but he's consciously allowing it to be. Okay? The moment he chooses otherwise, he can consciously drop it. That's the difference between a person who is unconsciously smoking and consciously smoking. I'll give you the story of Ramakrishna Paramsa. Ramakrishna Paramsa used to eat a lot of sweets. Okay? Sweets? Yeah, I think sweets. I'm not sweets. The child is born. Sweets, right? Then a child is brought to him. The child is brought to him. A mother complains, Paramamsi, this child is eating a lot of sweets. It's very bad for his health. Please do something. Ramakrishna Paramamsa tells, come back after 7 days. For 7 days, he himself practices it. Okay? And then 7th day when the lady comes, then he tells, don't do it. You understand? He is in control. There is a opening whether to do it or not to do it. So Buddha, what happened was when Buddha was walking with his disciple Ananda, so there's a mosquito he hit. Then again he took 3 steps back. Again he did like that. Second time there was no mosquito. Then Ananda asked him, why are you doing like that? Buddha said, first time when I did it unconsciously. Okay? But no, nothing should be unconscious. I will do it consciously. Okay? So there will be unconscious movement, but the Gnani will have the room whether to allow it or not. That's the only difference between a Gnani and a Gnani. Don't think that Gnani means all that are unconscious, subconscious is all wiped out. No. For all you know, Gnani also can have anger might arise. That's the example of Durvasa Rishi. There's a Rishi called Durvasa. In all the stories, he gets angry. Anger also might rise in anger because in Gnani, because it's a subconscious, unconscious pattern. But the difference is that anger rises and it immediately falls back. In Agnani, the subconscious pattern rises, takes over, makes the conscious believe that it is conscious, does the action, regrets the reaction, again reprograms the subconscious that I should not have done it or not, and carries a guilt. You understand? This is a cycle. There is no mukti, there is no freedom. But in the Gnani, anger rises, Gnani watches. But if the Gnani sees value in shouting, he does it, but not out of anger. So Krishna will kill. Krishna will tell Arjuna, please kill. Krishna himself will leave the Sudarshana to kill that Shishupala. Is that conscious or unconscious? It's a conscious act because he waited 100 times. If you had killed him at the first time, it's unconscious. It's a reaction. Because he waited 100 times, 100 abuses, it is conscious. That is the beauty. Now, can your mind wait 100 in life? You jump at everything. Everything you immediately want to react. Okay? And do then post-mortem. I should have not have done that. I should have done this. That means, are you really conscious? So when and all of this only happens by the grace of the subconscious. See, I'm speaking all of this. It is because of the grace of the superconscious. The superconscious has to trickle down the conscious to see through all these patterns. Otherwise, I'll keep telling my own subconscious junk, which has no relevance, which is only some, positive talk. So most spirituality nowadays is just unconscious garbage, subconscious garbage with some keywords like positivity, mental health, something. Real spiritual talk is the superconscious insight has to get articulated through the conscious mind and illumine the gaps in your thinking. That is gnana. And that is not magic because it's articulated. Entire Bhagavad Gita is that. It's words coming from superconscious mind. Okay? From unconscious mind, subconscious mind, what will come? Bhagavad Gita will not come. You understand? Shishar, did you get the answer to the question?
Yes, Guruji.
So,
That is an unconscious answer.
and who's the judge? Only you are the judge. You have to see, and you have to be just to be truthful. Like for example, your body is in a certain stage. Let's say you have some disease, diabetes. It has no relation to you being gnani or not. Okay, the body has diabetes. Will the gnani tell, I'm gnani, why should I take care of why should I exercise? Why should I diet control? No. You will see what is the best I can do. In the same way, the mind has disease. If there is a way to fix that disease, you can explore that option. And I am not saying this. The entire tradition of yoga is that. Yoga chitta vritti nirodha. This is the first statement Patanjali makes in the Patanjali Yoga Sutra. He tells yoga chitta vritti nirodha. Chitta vritti means unconscious and subconscious tendencies. Nirodha means yoga cleans the unconscious and subconscious tendencies so that you can receive gnana. That itself is not gnana. That itself is not mukti. It prepares you for mukti. Anyway, once you get a Sadguru, all that doesn't matter. But this is the process. Okay, I didn't even go beyond the first shloka yet. Any doubts so far? Mind, is everybody clear? The mind is the problem. The mind, you have to see, is my mind a problem solver or a problem creator? In all aspects of life, spiritually, financially, relationship-wise, everything. Is it making my life miserable? Am I associating with problem solvers or problem creators? Am I spending my time in problem solving? So all problem solving activities empower the mind to think as problem solvers. Okay. So Hemalika says it's all because of your mind. Your mind is your friend. It can be your friend or it can be your enemy. And what mind? Unconscious and subconscious mind. And how do you get the mastery over the mind? Through one is Vipassana is a great practice to get mastery or to just illumine and show you what is there in your unconscious and subconscious mind. So 10-day Vipassana, you go to 10-day Vipassana meditation, all your thought patterns, whatever is hidden, all they come out. Because you don't have any other avenue of expression. You're just left with what is there in you. So with a little amount of gnana, the Vipassana becomes a very beautiful practice. You become free from your subconscious, unconscious patterns. So we hear stories about people getting healed by gnanis, right? Somebody met a gnani and some disease they had got healed. The disease is unconscious. And it got healed because gnani is able to illumine that. In the gnani's awareness, the unconscious has come out to conscious and what's the word? Annihilated itself. It's burnt out. It is expressing as a disease in you because you're still unconscious about it. You're still not learning what it's trying to tell you. The disease in the body is ultimately getting your attention. You're doing something, you're living your life in a certain way. You have to pay attention there. Right? The body creates pain only when it needs you to take your attention there. If it doesn't create pain, you'll bleed out and die, or you'll get worse and worse. The pain is there for you to become aware of it. When you become aware of it, you become free from it. As long as something is you're ignorant about, you suffer. Simple example, somebody is suffering financially, always living hand to mouth, hand to mouth. Okay, the pain in their life is finance, money. The pain will last until they become aware of the concepts that they carry about money and the lack of wisdom that they carry about money. So they need to have, first thing is, this person carries some wrong beliefs about money, which came from probably their parents or surrounding somewhere. Okay, that money is evil, and gurus, okay, gurus telling money is evil and all that. So all that is, this person has suffering. They desire money, but they suffer because of it. They will not become free from it until they become aware of all these patterns that are running the show, and then get the new learning of how to grow, how to make money, how to grow money. That is an insight that comes from probably the coach or higher consciousness in the conscious mind. Then the conscious mind now trains the subconscious mind. New subconscious record is created. Then the life starts transforming. Has anybody experienced this? In all aspects of life, all pain and suffering in life is some pattern hidden in your subconscious, unconscious. If you're able to bring it to the conscious, and this is exactly what Guru is doing in the process of Atma Vichara, he's only focusing on your ignorance of self. You have many ignorance, many delusions, many concepts in the head. Guru is only taking up the concept that you hold about me, I. He's only taking out that, bringing out all the unconscious identities that you have, make you see that you're not that through logic, help you see that, okay, in deep sleep, all this is not there, blah, blah, blah. Make you drop it, and then give higher wisdom that you are Atma. And now the conscious mind is satisfied and free. And there ends the suffering. This is the process of Atman now. The same process is true for any other aspect of life. Life is nothing but mind. Life is mind. And the mind is four: unconscious, subconscious, conscious, subconscious. And this applies, and yat brahmande tat pindande. This is true at the individual level. It is same at the cosmic level also. There is a cosmic unconscious mind that runs the cosmos. Like the sun rotates, planets rotate on their own axis, the elements behave in a certain way, then the stars behave in a certain way, the galaxy operates, there is rainfall, the fruit, if you put a seed in the, earth, the tree comes out. All that is unconscious cosmic data. Okay. Then there is subconscious cosmic data. What? All the how the society runs. Okay. Wars, peace. It's always been happening from the time of time immemorial. Human mind as a human as a society. That's how they behave. How the animals behave. Evolution. All this is subconscious, cosmic subconscious. And cosmic subconscious is the same thing, same game. Everybody, no matter how many lifetimes you take, it's the same story. You wake up, you have a childhood, you have some experience, you grow up, you get married, you do some job, you become successful or failure, whatever. You have children, they grow up. It's the same thing. Nothing is different. It's the same cycle keeps repeating. You understand? Then what is that? Now we are saying, no, this generation is completely distracted. Everybody is on the phone, everybody is distracted. This was not a state. There's a text. It's a Buddhist text about the city. Buddha was there. The city. There was a city in Buddha's time. There's a text from that, a recording, like a newspaper recording from that time, and that was the most populated city. And if you read the description of the city, of the people in the city, it's exactly like the description of the people in the city now. Okay, people are all distracted. Nobody respects elders. Everybody only thinks about money. Same story, same pattern. Universe is hopeless. Same data keeps recycling. Now we only have better homes and better technology to suffer in newer ways. But the same pattern, same diseases, same kind of problems, same aspirations. What aspiration? Somebody 1,000 years ago wanted to conquer the world. Somebody now also wants to conquer the world. Nothing new in that. There is nothing new, nothing absolutely new. Even enlightenment. Somebody seeks enlightenment. Now also somebody seeks enlightenment. Nothing new in that. It's the same story that keeps recycling. Okay. The only thing that is new, always, is what? The only fresh aspect in any time period is a Gnani. Okay. There's only one Buddha. There's only one Krishna. There is only one Osho. There's only one Ramakrishna Paramahamsa. There are many Gnanis, thousands of Gnanis, billions of Gnanis. But the type of Gnani, that unique quality, that teaching method is only unique one. Only one Bhagavad Gita. That, and there is superconscious. Only the reflection of the superconscious is unique. The reflection of the unconscious, subconscious, and what is conscious? I told you what is cosmic unconscious, cosmic subconscious, and I told you what is cosmic superconscious. What is cosmic conscious? शांति जी शांत हो दिखाई भी नहीं दे रहे Soumitra, you got the question?
Krishna ji, can you repeat the question again?
The question is, I just told you I explained to you what is at an individual level, unconscious, subconscious, conscious, superconscious.
Yeah.
And individual is nothing but a fraction, is a miniature of the cosmos. Yat Brahmanda.
Correct.
At a Brahmanda level, I told you what is unconscious. Unconscious is, it's called Akashic records. Okay? The cosmic unconscious. It has, it is data of how the universe should be.
Yeah.
How stars should be, how stars should function, how elements should function, how human cells should operate.
Yeah.
Right? Cosmic unconscious. Then cosmic subconscious is there, which is human life, society.
Yeah.
Then there is cosmic superconscious. Cosmic superconscious is the cosmos taking a human form and operating as a human. That's what is called avatar or a Gnani.
Yeah.
Okay? Example, Krishna or Buddha. And that is the only thing that is unique.
Yeah.
Now, my question is, what is called cosmic conscious? Like how you have a conscious mind, cosmos also has a conscious mind, no?
Yeah.
What is the reflection or operation of the cause? You understood the operation of the unconscious?
Yeah.
Taking care of the universe. The operation of the subconscious, creating the same desires, same hunger, Same. Your hunger is the same. Dog's hunger is the same. Your desire for sex is the same. Dog's desire for sex is the same. The primordial desires movement is universal.
Mhm.
That is cosmic subconscious.
Yeah.
Then I told you what is cosmic superconscious. The reflection of that is avatar,
Yeah.
Jnana, Shakti. Now my question is, what is cosmic conscious mind?
Cosmic conscious mind.
The disciple is speaking to.
Yeah.
That is individual level. At a cosmic level. Individual level, that is actually that is also subconscious, because many lifetimes you've done sadhana, then some desires come. Moksha. Okay. Then you get a fulfillment
Yes.
because of grace, but that is still unconscious, subconscious. What is cosmic conscious mind?
Is it in an
Jnani is
individual level, Krishna ji?
Individual level, I told you, what is individual conscious mind, you know. Your
Or
ability
is it
to-
what? Yeah. Is it what we call the Param Brahman? Parabrahman,
No, Parabrahman is superconscious.
super conscious. Okay.
Actually, Parabrahman is beyond superconscious. It's not mind.
Yeah, it's the consciousness in totality is that's what I meant is
No, Parabrahman is beyond mind. No mind. Parabrahman is not even superconscious. Parabrahman is beyond mind. It's para.
Mm.
It is absolute
Okay.
consciousness. My question is, what is cosmic conscious mind? Cosmic conscious mind is the one first thing you have to understand about conscious mind is always rooted in present.
Yeah.
Okay. Conscious mind, the moment it's in past or future, it's not conscious mind. It's unconscious, subconscious mind. Conscious mind is always in the present. The cosmic conscious mind is the present technology that you have, the present innovation. That is cosmic mind. And that cosmic mind is operating through those scientists, those innovators. Those ultimately it has to operate through some instrument, right? That cosmos, the conscious mind of the cosmos operates through the innovators who create something, who are rooted, who take present moment decisions for the totality at the particular point of time. So in that sense, Sri Krishna Paramatma on the battlefield is cosmic conscious mind deciding the fate of the society through his guidance. Okay? The cosmic conscious mind is always constantly innovative, new. Okay, it comes up with new ideas, right? The cosmic conscious mind is the one that leads to the creation of new things. Otherwise, all the stale repeated patterns are from the unconscious and the subconscious. Gnana and divinity is from the superconscious. That which makes the life better for living beings through science, technology, medicine, innovation, all that is cosmic conscious mind. It's my understanding. Disclaimer.
Okay, got it, Krishna.
Krishna ji, so is the cosmic conscious mind only limited to science and technology, or is it any form of creation, even through artists, musicians?
Yeah, absolutely. Everything.
Any.
Everything, right? To bring that beauty, the newness in any aspect, this happens because of the conscious
Yeah.
and the superconscious. So somebody creates really the only difference is when you talk about painting or some innovation, here the action of the cosmic conscious mind has a cosmic impact.
Yeah.
You understand? It should have, like, for example, Wi-Fi. Some Wi-Fi is created, right? Is invented. That has a cosmic impact.
Yeah.
That is the action of the cosmic mind.
And Guruji, will it be right to say that this cosmic conscious mind is always growing?
Cosmic conscious mind is always conscious and it's innovating.
Okay, innovating is the right
Yes.
term. Okay, understood.
So what conscious mind is doing simply is it's allowing the superconscious to reflect more and more. So what happens is you can understand it better as a society. A society that is completely in the unconscious or subconscious doesn't allow superconscious to come in. For example, there's some parts of the world that are, even though they're in the 21st century, they live like barbarians. Okay.
True.
They're stuck in fight and flight. Okay. There's no, the country is not, developed. People are struggling. People are suffering. All that is because they're still living in the unconscious and subconscious. Evolution has not happened to conscious. I mean, these are not absolute examples, just some notions to help you understand. But you don't have to worry about the cosmic conscious, subconscious, superconscious. The message that Himalaya is trying to give is mind is the problem. And all minds, cosmic, individual, conscious, unconscious, superconscious, all mind is Maya. Mind is Maya. Consciousness is beyond.
Guruji, did we say superconsciousness is Sakshi?
Superconsciousness is Sakshi. Sakshi is also with respect to Saksham. When you say witness of what? In absolute, there is no witness also. Parabrahma is beyond witness. Because it doesn't make sense to say he's witness. What is he witnessing? To say he's witnessing, that means there is something else to witness. So Parabrahman is beyond mind, including superconscious mind. That's why it's called superconscious mind. It's still a mind. Although it's superconscious, it's still a mind. So when somebody touches Savikalpa Samadhi or God realization, which is what happened to Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, he was in Savikalpa Samadhi. He is in superconscious mind. Okay, he's plugged to Mother, Divine Mother. When he's plugged to Divine Mother, he can know what is the past, what is the future. Okay, but then he gets his Sadguru, Totapuri. He comes and tells all that is illusion. Even that is illusion. Okay, because there is a seer and seen. There's still a duality. So Parabrahma is beyond superconscious. He's not mind. Parabrahma is nothing can be told about it. So Sakshi, is Sakshi the final? No. But Sakshi is the only point you can go to using the mind. Sakshi can be pointed to. You can negate everything and tell, okay, what is left that is seeing it's Sakshi. But what is becoming the Sakshi, you cannot point to. The Parabrahman is becoming the Sakshi, right? That you cannot point to.
So Atma is Sakshi because Atma is witness.
Atma is Sakshi. Atma is Sakshi.
So superconsciousness is, can we say superconsciousness is Atma? Because it is part of the mind.
No. Superconscious, Atma is Brahman actually. Okay. Atma is Brahman. Atma is different, mind is different. Here we're talking about in Atma, a mind appears. Okay. Like in your dream, a dream world appears, right? Like that, in Atma, a mind appears. And how does this mind operate? It operates as conscious, subconscious, superconscious, and unconscious.
So that reflected consciousness or the Chidabhasa is super consciousness. Can we equate that?
Ila, Chidabhasa is your sense of I. Chidabhasa is separate topic. I'll take up Chidabhasa. Let's not confuse with the Chidabhasa.
Sorry.
Chidabhasa is a separate thread. So Chidabhasa is your feeling of I, your feeling of I, right? That feeling is Chidabhasa, in simple words. So Sakshi is, you can be aware of even the superconscious mind. Okay? Sakshi is beyond that. Sorry, Parabrahma. So Sakshi is a point that you can reach to with Vichara, and then from there it's plunge. Because what is beyond Sakshi cannot be caught with the mind. Actually, Sakshi also cannot be caught with the mind, but it helps you understand what I am not. With the example of deep sleep, with the concept of Sakshi, the concept of Sakshi, again I'm telling you, is a concept. The example given in Vedanta is somebody is dead and they pile up wood on that person, right? And then one piece of wood log is lit. Then that is used to light the funeral pyre, the body. Once the body is lit, even that stick is thrown into that pyre. So that stick that you use is Sakshi. But ultimately that is also given up. I am Sakshi, you start with to tell I am not the body, mind, intellect. Okay. When you become clear of that, drop even Sakshi. Now even Sakshi is not required. Because what will you witness? Sakshi means witness, right? Witness of what?
As long as there is something to witness, it is still duality.
As long as there's duality, I am Sakshi, I am not body, mind. Then when I cross over, when there's no perception, there's a perception, then Sakshi also is not required. Who is there? What is there to witness? It's just pure existence. And that pure existence is what you really are. That's why the Upanishads are very clear. They say, I am Atma Brahma. Okay? They say Prajnanam Brahma. You're of the nature of Parabrahman. Sakshi, you just use as a ladder. Because Parabrahman the mind cannot jump into Parabrahman directly. Are there any doubts?
Not yet.
I was supposed to complete the chapter, but I only completed one shloka. It's already 3 hours in. We'll take up the next chapter in the next shloka. Next chapter in the next session. Okay. So, should I work on the mind, repairing the mind, master the mind? The real answer is, if you're focused on Atmanjnana, not required. Because Jnana itself will burn everything else, will take care of everything else. But it's never bad. Okay? Will something really good come out of it? Maybe not. But definitely bad will stop happening. You understand? Like, I do exercise. Will something good come out of it? Maybe, maybe not. But definitely the things that would have happened without me doing that will get avoided. You understand? So if you have to be run by subconscious and unconscious patterns, why not master them? If they exist, and only if they're creating some pain. I told you some examples, right? You have to see in your life what aspect of your life is causing pain and suffering repeatedly. And even Atma Gnana will not be able to solve those problems. It will make you detached from it, no doubt. But there might be a thought that I have to get rid of that problem. Then you have to work at the mind level. You have to look at the subconscious pattern and resolve that. And there comes the help of, this is just to make life little less painful. It has nothing to do with liberation. Liberation is only Gnana. Nothing apart from Gnana will work. But the same Gnana, it's an extension of this. Okay. The beauty of Buddha is he did this both. He never only focused on Gnana. He focused both on Gnana and Vipassana. So he helped his disciples master their unconscious and subconscious, become more conscious, at the same time as be established in awareness. So it's total. Same thing Shiva also did. The teachings of Kashmiri Shaivism, the Shiva, all the teachings of spirituality are from teachings of Shiva. Shiva also focused on all. Shiva and Shakti, which is all layers of the mind. So it's a holistic approach. The approach of Buddha, the approach of Shiva, and the approach of Sri Ramakrishna Paramahansa. They're all, that is one common theme. But in the approach of probably Ramana Maharshi, it's not the same. Ramana Maharshi only focuses on Gnana. If you ask Ramana Maharshi, how do I fix my subconscious mind, he'll ask who is asking the question. Okay. But all these other masters, they gave a whole system to address. Somewhat Krishna is also doing the same thing in the Bhagavad Gita. He's giving Karma Yoga to purify the subconscious mind, Bhakti Yoga, all these 18 yogas that he's giving are a holistic approach. They're not. And the holistic approach brings transformation in the body, mind, and thought pattern. So whatever you get, you take. Just take it like rain. Any doubts? Don't get lost in it. Don't. What happens in visualization is people make visualization itself because it's a power of the mind, right? The mind becomes real because whatever you're visualizing is happening, you get attached to it. That thought that, oh, I can create my reality. Then you get trapped by your own creation. Okay, so
I think visualization only to remove any issues is fine, but going further than that and trying to create the reality, then you're really restricting
so
the reality that can happen.
The principle is if some aspect of your life is creating suffering, see, life is not meant to suffer. Life is divine. Okay, so as a human being, like you have a child, right? When you raise a child, consciously you have a desire to give the best to the child. Okay, the best education, you have to take care of the child, to help the child avoid suffering as much as possible, right? That's the thought. In the same way, you have to have the notion about yourself also. Be kind to yourself also, right? Your life also, you're meant to live peaceful, happy life where you get to experience divinity, probably meet great saint, masters, experience the ups and downs of life, and the highest offering of life, which is Atmanana. Okay. Now, in this journey, there'll be a lot of unnecessary obstacles. Some are necessary, which will help you grow and things like that. But there'll be a lot which are self-inflicted. Okay. There will be a lot which are wrong programs. And if they're really bothering, you can choose to, and if you have the luxury, certain things you cannot change. If you can change it, and if there's a way, change it. That's all. Little effort, right? Anyway, you're not the doer. Put little effort, finish it off, throw it out. Cut it, throw it out. Any doubt? Vivek, it's clear? Makes sense. What aspect of your life is creating suffering?
Not much of it.
Right. So typically, there'll be the main suffering would be the past. Although there is no externally, it's more easier to handle. Like if some person is suffering, you can always stay away from the person. Okay, if job is suffering, you can work from home. If my house is suffering, you can change the house. But if your mind is causing the suffering, how will you run away from it? Your impressions, your vasanas are causing the suffering. How will I run away from that? How will I fix that? That's where some mastery of the mind helps. So to look into the past is haunting, or the mind is creating a psychological depression or problem, because one is because you're ignorant about it. There's something that is not evident to you. Simply, it's not evident. There's a blind spot somewhere. Somewhere something is missing. That's why the same pattern keeps coming back. You have to resolve it. Okay. How you resolve it? Actually, Sanatana Dharma is actually a very beautiful practice for resolution. And once you have resolved it, that you become free from that suffering. So I'll give you an example, a real story that Swami Nityananda tells. That one child, one young boy, when he's at the beach with his father, he sees somebody getting murdered. Okay, as a child, he's seen that, and his entire life he cannot go near water. Okay, and there's a lot of suffering simply because that experience has created trauma, and nobody has resolved that. Then in another case, another man is extremely successful but very depressed, and he comes to the master, and he says, why? It's because when I was young, I came from a very poor family. My uncle insulted me that you are very poor. That pain drove me to make all this wealth. But I have all this wealth, but I still cannot remove his voice from my head. I still feel poor. Okay. So this way, the mind holds on to so many traumas. It doesn't let go. But there's a process for unleashing them, releasing them. And it's a yogic process. Okay, someday, if possible, I'll take you all through that. So that really helps, and it's in my own experience. I was able to release one such for myself, and when that release happens, it changes your external circumstance also, because your external circumstance is blocked by that inner. It's like a stone that is blocking it, because any external situation, ultimately, what is in comes out as human beings, as experience and everything. So if you are able to remove the block inside, the external challenge will transform without your effort. So at any point of time, if there's any problem and you have a notion that, oh, I cannot do anything about it, you can always go in and work on what is inside. That nobody can stop you. Nobody can stop you from going within and resolving. Okay.
What is that yogic process is called, Guruji?
Sanskrit has Gutila. It is referred to as, there was a guy, Russian master also called Goodreef. He extensively used this technique, and many of his disciples got enlightened only in this technique. Okay, so the process is you go back into your. So what happens is there is weight in you, the past experiences, guilt, or suffering. It will manifest as something, either anger, either hate, either depression, or one thing will stand out. Depression, anger, diseases there. You have all diseases, but one thing will stand out. Either guilt will hurt you more, or frustration will hurt you more, or being a victim will hurt you more. Why did this happen to me? Some will hurt you more. So that one, the prime, the top player na hidkondo, you have to go to the experience of experiencing it the first time, as much as you can. Maybe you'll not be able to go to the original first experience, but as far as possible. And the beauty is, 100% of the time, you will go to the original experience, which you thought you had forgotten. But because of course, the presence of the master, and because of your perseverance, it will lead you to the first experience. Even if you have had it when you were a 1-month-old baby, you'll be able to recollect it. Okay? Because mind is ultimately memory bank, right? Everything is stored, nothing is lost. And you hold one thread and keep going, it will lead you to the first memory. That first memory typically is always happened in childhood. Okay, it's always childhood, when your mind had not formed and something was done to you, or you saw something or experienced something which blocked you, or which put a constraint around you, which also put the constraint. That constraint is permanent. It not simply put a constraint, it also put a constraint that this is it. So now, with the help of the master and the wisdom and your own conscious mind, you open that up. And I'm just briefly telling you, this is the process. So you relive it and you open that up and you become free from it. Once you become free from it, there's no going back. And the thing about that constraint is, it's happening to you this lifetime because it's a carry forward from previous lifetime. And once you resolve it, lifetimes ka suffering will you become free from. You will get mukti. So many of Goodreef's disciples, Goodreef was an enlightened Russian master. Many of his disciples, he used this process to many of his disciples to get Atmagnan. Okay. To release identities. So many identities that you carry, release them and become free. You release the identity, then you have no identity. Then the master gives the right identity. You are that. So with the combination of release and gnana, mukti. But without gnana, just with the process, with the technique, you become free from the suffering. Maybe not, you might not get enlightened, but at least that the thing that is ruining your life will disappear. The thing that is converting all that you touch into sand. The thing that any sugar that comes in your life, any blessing that's given to you, that which makes that into a curse, that will stop. It will stop the tendency of your mind to be your own enemy. Okay. So, any other questions? Shall we close? Tvameva mata, pita tvameva, tvameva bandhuscha, sakha tvameva, tvameva vidya, dravinam tvameva, tvameva sarvam, मम देवदेवः कायेन वाचा मनसेन्द्रियैव बुद्ध्यात्मना वा प्रकृते स्वभावः करोमि यद्यत् सकलं परस्मै नारायणायेति समर्पयामि। लोकाः समस्ता सुखिनो भवन्तु। लोकाः समस्ता सुखिनो भवन्तु। लोकाः समस्ता सुखिनो भवन्तु। हरिः ओम्। श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। हरिः ओम्। Hari Om. See you in the next session.
Thank you, Guruji.
Thank you, Gurudeva.